Hi guys, so welcome back to Excel Island. My name is Abatan Sheriffdeen, and welcome back to the channel if you're an existing subscriber, and welcome if you're a new subscriber. Basically, what I do on this channel so far is I share content on my Excel, freelancing work, SQL, start sharing content on Power BI also, Python. Then I share content on data analysis. I'm currently a top rated plus freelance data analyst Upwork. So I've had major started to upskill myself for the next. Today is day 79 of learning journey using the resources Datacamp to upskill myself uh, in the freelancing general. So welcome back to the live stream. So far so good. Data analyst in SQL career track on the Datacamp platform. I've been learning courses growing up. I've had a couple of challenges like when my gadget developers the burnout. So basically I take a day break or a two break depending on how busy I am. Then hopefully I'll be back to my to live streaming, daily live stream. I go to the career track on the camp section, the data analyst in SQL career track. So far so good, so consistent. I am 80% before the 100 days. Before the 100th day, definitely. Wow, even though I do this track. So after this career track, the data analysis Python, I'll also be live streaming, I'll also be doing Python also. For that, I'll add data analysis Power BI. So definitely want to subscribe to this channel right now and hit the notification to be the first whenever I go live. Come and learn with me also. So if I go back, I go into the data analysis. So this career track contains 11 courses, and I am actually or data less of coding. Most of the first course, which is way down, so if I want to check the code live stream, data analysis, well, I was 11 course. This is less no coding part. From this course all the way up coding and just it is data communications. And we have a final project taken. If I go back to the data camp, let's continue guys. Before I continue, so as I said earlier, I'm rated plus freelance Upwork. Still the influence of a coach who has actually guided me journey husband time freelancer till like this. Currently has a course called freelance clients. And the good news is that he just updated this course due to the new trend in tech world. We have AI now, why you can become AI technology, advance your. I'll leave a link to the course in the YouTube description. Make sure to check it out, purchase the course. Right. So let's get back to any job. So if I try to resume, okay, if I try to resume, yeah, let's do it. So basically, I just do 30 minutes each live one way. So early. Of course, I'm telling you that early technical concepts, lessons. You don't want to rush yourself when you're taking this type of lessons. So I'll just continue from where I stop. But I've finished the chapter one and chapter two of this data understanding data visualization part of the course. I'll just continue. Okay, the color and probably color concepts in data. I always love to download the slides. Quickly download slides before I continue. Open the slide second other screen.
So far, you've seen how to visualize one or two variables. But what happens with more than two variables? Here are the plots of life expectancy using the UN dataset. You've visualized life expectancy against length of schooling and GNI per capita separately. What if you wanted to see the effect of both variables on life expectancy together? The obvious answer is to draw a 3D scatter plot. Unfortunately, that's a terrible idea. With a three-dimensional object on a two-dimensional screen, you lose all sense of perspective, and it's difficult to interpret. Sometimes, drawing the plot at different angles can assist interpretation, but most angles are unhelpful. Fortunately, there are other ways of drawing more than two dimensions on a flat screen. For points in the scatter plot, you can represent values using different colors, sizes, levels of transparency, and shape. Here, length of schooling and GNI are shown on the X and Y axes. Then life expectancy is represented on a color axis. Shorter life expectancies are shown in blue, moving through green to yellow for longer life expectancies. The yellow dots are in the top right, meaning that countries with the longest life expectancies have both long schooling times and high GNI. As a bonus, you can see the positive correlation between schooling and GNI. One downside is that you can't see precise values for life expectancy. You can estimate, give or take 5 years, but you couldn't say for definite whether a color corresponds to 64 years or 65 years. A second option is to change the size of the points, with larger points representing larger numbers. This is okay, but has more problems. Firstly, larger points can seem more important. Sometimes that might be acceptable, but if you want people to concentrate on countries with a low life expectancy, it's a bad choice. Secondly, it's harder to judge precise life expectancies than with color. Thirdly, the large points tend to overlap, making it difficult to distinguish individual countries. Transparency has similar problems to size. We're naturally drawn towards points with less transparency, and it's difficult to determine precise values. Using different shapes is a fourth possibility. This requires cutting the range of life expectancies into groups. One shape corresponds to life expectancies between 50 and 60, another shape to life expectancies between 60 and 70, and so on. This isn't ideal because shapes have no natural ordering from smallest to largest. For example, a square isn't implicitly greater than a circle. To interpret this plot, you have to memorize which shape corresponds to which age range. This is a big mental burden. One final option is to draw panels for different subsets of the dataset. Like shape, you need to cut the life expectancies into categories. This is nice for determining trends across groups. In the top row, you see that the points in the 60 to 70 group are further right than the 50 to 60 group, indicating more schooling. Comparing the top and bottom rows, you see that as well as moving right, the points also move upwards, indicating more income. In this variation, Each panel contains data for an age range of 5 years rather than 10. This gives you more precision for life expectancy, but it takes up more space, and you spend more time having to move your eyes between panels, making interpreting harder. Line plots also have a choice of aesthetics to use as additional dimensions. Color is most common, but line thickness and the transparency level are options as well. These behave similarly to points. One new aesthetic is line type. For example, you can draw lines with dashes or dots. Here's the plot of technology adoption in the USA, which uses color to distinguish lines. Here's an alternative version using line type to distinguish the lines. Unfortunately, even with just 4 lines, it's difficult to distinguish the different types of dashes. Let's move to a higher dimension.
Color is the best. That dimension, you have a scatter which based on. Then you have a field as discussed in the 3D plot helpful. There are other options. XY axis can change the color, size, appearance. See the here you can see elsewhere in lost. Explore the different then determines us how to do separate different sizes of makes it using separate panels why the best for it but make others are called what other using different shape why the best other to different color a good way better color is as points you may also want in the is more the two different are that you can change line width, and you can. So the line plot for five tech effectively Facebook. So the prices have been adjusted for dividends and scaled relative to their highest prices over the so there are more. Explore the then determine who is the best part time line. So all five companies the higher price than so 2018 Facebook stock price is by a greater 100% of Apple stock out of all five companies have all five all five that's all five they are all five only was that's began all five companies all five I didn't understand all five all the but because I did higher diamond that visualization okay waiting
You just saw that the most powerful tool you have for distinguishing data values is often color.
color is the most data color
Now you'll see how to choose the best colors for your plot. How you define colors has an impact on which colors you want to choose. Many programming languages define colors by how much red, green, and blue the colors contain. So the software knows how bright to make the red, green, and blue pixels on screen. We call this the red, green, blue color space. Graphic designers often define colors by the amount of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black they contain, because color printers have these 4 ink cartridges. Using this color space gives them the highest fidelity between what is on screen and what is printed. Here's the plot of Los Angeles house prices. There are some problems with the choice of colors. Firstly, yellow points are harder to see than reds, meaning viewers might spend less time looking at the yellows and miss important insights. Secondly, the colors blue and purple are perceptually quite close. That is, they appear to be quite similar. By contrast, yellow appears very different to the other colors. This could lead viewers of the plot to think, possibly subconsciously, that the yellow points are different to the others. The color space designed for data visualization is called hue chroma luminance, or HCL. It's designed to deal with issues of color perception. Hue is like the color of the rainbow, from red through orange, green, and blue to purple and back to red. Chroma is the intensity of the color, from gray to a bright color. You can go from gray to bright green, or gray to bright magenta, or gray to any other hue. Luminance is the brightness of the color, from black to white. For example, you can go from black through cyan to white, or black through red to white. When choosing the colors for your plot, you can pick one of 3 types of color scale. Qualitative color scales are used to distinguish unordered categories, and usually involve changing the hue, while keeping chroma and luminance fixed. Here's the technology adoption line to think of refrigerators as greater than stoves. Each line has a different hue, but constant chroma and luminance. To emphasize ordering in your data, that is, to show that values are greater than or less than each other, you need a sequential color scale. Most sequential scales change either chroma or luminance, while keeping hue fixed. Here's the fruit and vegetable consumption bar plot. The categories are ordered from 0 to greater than 5, so a sequential color scale makes most sense. You can also use sequential scales with continuous variables. Here's the scatter plot of life expectancy. This is slightly cheating because it uses a sequential scale that changes the hue. The color scale is called viridis, and it's designed to be easily viewable by colorblind people and to print well in black and white. This color scale had a lot of science used in its development. If you make your own sequential scale, it's better to stick to changing only chroma or luminance. To emphasize whether values are greater than or less than some middle value, use a diverging scale. These are similar to sequential scales, but have a neutral color like white or gray in the middle, and have increasingly bold colors with different hues on either edge. Here's another survey dataset on green technology and recycling in Malaysia. Each question has a choice of 5 responses, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Neutral responses form a midpoint, making a diverging scale useful. Here you can see each question on its own row, and the colors get bolder as the opinions get stronger. Let's play with some colors.
This is cool. So eye catching. Not all colors are as eye catching. This can cause a problem for data because obvious obvious and bias unless you data point all the here you can see the camera this time speed of the animal past of day button. I go see Abatan. So each version of Papua was in version. Couple points are easier. First statement is to ensure that all data points all have ensure that all data points are equal. All have all data points all have all data so that all data points are fully perceivable. All have this first option. We're going to combine cook, affect how qualitative. There are three types of each design highlights to type qualitative, special, low ordering, above. Here you can see the result about ASC from your. So each question has own role and response option and choose an appropriate color. Then I choose the best color scale that qualitative, sequential, data is best. See this neutral is white. Not saying yellow So this neutral is white. White is it. Even if the dividing scale is appropriate here, the respondent, the white is it. So highlighting data. So up to now, also use and other plot statistics or data. So usually that's a good idea, but occasionally highlight that's too. So here is the data set latest chapter 2 as this goes where up the notorious back are colored different. Use the sliders by this artist. How many say the points the point this is just like this. For others, point size that's a cumulative back and there. Key to back real quick. Edit to back is dead. Let's count the red. So the red is 4, 5, 7, 8. Let's begin. Wow, that's the answer. So back is 8. If I count the blue, 3, 8. That's the best trick there. I like that. Guys, currency, how where the chroma is so bright. Chroma means brightness. Understand? Chroma means brightness. This is how transparent. Just 30 minutes to the. Let's finish this chapter 3 real quick. Interesting.
To visualize many variables, you'll need to use more advanced plot types. Here we'll look at pair plots, correlation heat maps, and parallel coordinates plots. Pair plots work with up to about 10 variables at once, and they show you the distribution of each variable and the relationship between each pair of variables. Here's a pair plot of LA home prices. There are 4 variables in the dataset, giving 4 rows of panels and 4 columns. Let's explore this piece by piece. Panels on the diagonal show distributions of variables. City is a categorical variable, so its distribution is represented as a bar plot of counts for each city. The other 3 variables, number of beds, price, and area, are continuous, so their distributions are represented by histograms. Panels off the diagonal show relationships between pairs.
Almost through with this understanding data. I would like to take a break here today. Alright, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. Found value in this live stream to support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up. Doesn't cost anything. I'll see you. Don't also forget check out the freelance clients course, the link description. Check out the coach big and also check out that videos. This video on the channel or live. Probably the next. Yeah, of course. Bye. Bye. Ready.